Lagos never sleeps, it bustling everywhere even at night. Cars move along the roads, music plays in the distance, and lights from buildings shine across the streets. Inside a small news office in the city, a young journalist named Tola was still working at her desk. Papers were spread around her laptop, and an empty coffee cup sat beside it. She had stayed late again, finishing up another story. After a while, her phone vibrated on the desk. She picked it up and saw a message. If you want the truth about your father, check the file on your desk before midnight. She was quite sure it had not been there earlier. Tola, pois. Her father had disappeared 10 years ago. No one ever explained what happened to him. She slowly looked down at her desk. There was a manila envelope sitting there. Tola carefully opened the envelope. Inside, she found a folder with the words Lagos disappearances written at. There was also a small USB drive and a photograph. When she picked up the photograph, she looked at it closely. It showed her father standing in front of an old warehouse. At the bottom of the picture was a date. 2 years ago. Tola looked at the photo again, quietly thinking about what it might mean. Just then, her coworker Chinedu walked over to her desk. He noticed the serious look on her face. "What's going on?" he asked. Tola didn't say much at first. She simply handed him the photograph. Chinedu looked at it carefully. After a moment he said, "Isn't that your dad?" Tola nodded. "I think someone might know what happened to him," she said. She then placed the USB drive into her laptop to see what was inside. A moment later, a message appeared on the screen. "Stop digging, or you'll disappear too." Chinedu looked at the screen quietly. Neither of them spoke for a few seconds. It seemed that someone did not want Tola to continue looking for answers. But the message also made one thing clear. There was more to the story of her father's disappearance than anyone had known. Tola stared at the warning on her laptop. Chinedu looked over her shoulder. "Do we open it?" he asked. Tola nodded. She clicked on the USB drive. A video played. It showed her father at the old warehouse, talking to someone in shadow. The words were faint, but she caught protection in moving the files. "That's near the old port," Tola said. "I've been there with him before." Chinedu frowned. "Tola, this could be dangerous. Someone already warned you." "I have to know," she said. "If he's alive, I need to find him." They grabbed their coats and left the office. The streets were quiet, but the city's hum followed them. As they drove toward the port, Tola kept thinking about the photo 2 years ago. Whoever sent the envelope wanted her to see it. Someone knew. Chinedu glanced at her. At the port, the warehouses loomed silently. Shadows moved in the corners. They didn't know it yet, but someone was watching. Tola and Chinedu parked the car a short distance from the warehouse. The area was quiet. Only a few dim lights were on. "Are you sure this is the place?" Chinedu asked. Tola looked at the photograph again and nodded. "Yes, this is it." They walked toward the large metal door. It was slightly open. Chinedu pushed it gently, and it creaked as it moved. Inside, the warehouse was mostly empty. Old crates were stacked along the walls, and dust covered the floor. Tola turned on the flashlight from her phone. "Look," she said quietly. Near one of the crates was a small table with a laptop and a few papers. Chinedu walked closer. Someone was here recently. Tola picked up one of the papers. It listed several names and dates. At the top of the page were the words, Lagos disappears. Her hands trembled slightly. These are the same words from the folder, she said. Chinedu noticed something else on the table. Tola, look at this. He picked up a small recorder. Tola pressed the play button. A voice filled the quiet warehouse. It was her father. If you are hearing this, it means someone finally found this place. I didn't disappear. I was forced to go into hiding. Tola froze. Her father's voice continued. There are powerful people behind the disappearances. In Lagos, I tried to expose them. That's why they came after me. Chinedu looked around nervously. Then the recording said something that made Tola's heart race. They think I'm gone, but I'm still watching them. Suddenly, they heard a sound behind them. Footsteps. Tola and Chinedu froze, hearts pounding. Footsteps echoed, slow and deliberate, cutting through the silence of the warehouse. Stay calm, Tola whispered, holding the recorder like a lifeline. A shadow shifted near the crates, and the weak beam from her flashlight trembled slightly, casting jagged shapes across the walls. Who's there? Chinedu's voice cracked, though he tried to sound braver than he felt. Tola, you shouldn't have come here. The voice was unmistakable. Her father stepped out of the darkness alive, but changed. His face was pale, his eyes sharp and haunted. You're alive, she whispered, tears welling. I've been watching, he said, his tone heavy. Not just them. Someone's been following you too. Before she could respond, more figures appeared from the shadows masked, armed. The warehouse seemed to shrink around them, every corner hiding danger. Chinedu grabbed her arm. Her father raised a hand, stopping them. No, listen carefully. You need to know who's really behind the disappearances, and why I let them think I was gone. We need to move now. Tola's stomach tightened. The truth was coming, and she knew that after this night, nothing would ever be the same. Tola's father grabbed her arm. This way, quick. They ducked behind crates as the masked figures advanced. One swung a metal rod, narrowly missing Chinedu. Her father shouted, "Draw them away from the exit." Tola hesitated, but, "What about you?" "I'll hold them off," he said grimly. "Go." Adrenaline surged as Tola and Chinedu darted across the dusty floor, weaving between crates. Footsteps and shouts echoed, metal clanging as the intruders tried to corner them. A shadow lunged from the side. Tola swung her flashlight, hitting it hard. The figure stumbled, buying precious seconds. Chinedu pointed to a narrow door at the back. They sprinted toward it, hearts hammering. Tola glanced back. Her father confronted the lead intruder, holding his ground despite being outnumbered. "Hurry!" yelled. They burst through the door into a dark alley. Night air hit them like a shock. Tola shook her head, terror and determination mixing. "No, we can't stop here. They're not just after us, they control everything in Lagos." A distant siren wailed. Somewhere, the masked insiders were regrouping, ready to strike again.